Good afternoon, this is Matthew Wright and I'm here with Katie Givens at Pandora's Box in Ormskirk. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Last night I came along and I saw you leading a meeting of Ormskirk retailers, business people, students, etc. In connection with something called the Mary Portas High Street Pilot Grant Bid Competition.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
What's it all about?
It is about 12 up to 12 towns in the UK competing, it's up to as many towns in the UK competing for to be one of 12 towns who get effectively this grant, which is up to £100,000, share of the pot of £1 million. And if they are lucky enough to get this grant, then they have not only up to £100,000 to spend, but they have the backing and support of Mary Portas and her group, marketing support, and obviously the support of the government as well.
Why does Ormskirk need to enter this bid?
It fits into the criteria for one, being a market town. That's one of. But
why do we need the money? You know, what do we need to improve?
Closures. There's been a lot of closures of retail.
Empty
shop premises. It's the footfall has decreased dramatically.
Footfall, is that the number of people coming into the town?
Yeah, sorry. We also have a large population of students as well.
Yes.
So the footfall should be increased realistically.
Right.
But it hasn't. What we've found is that they've been going elsewhere, so to more like the city centre locations nearby.
Well, the students have.
Students have, yeah.
They're not attracted to Ormskirk.
No, because they're generally, like I said, there's been a lot of closures. There's actually now a few of the bigger kind of the multiples in Ormskirk.
It's mirrored throughout the country.
Yes, definitely, especially in town centres. It's the high street and town centres. She's kind of grouped together.
But is there one cause? Is it just? I mean, there's been a downturn in the economy. Is that just the reason, or are there other reasons that towns like Ormskirk are suffering?
No, it's obviously the rise in internet, which is obviously going to continue, which is a good thing. It's the change in shopping habits as well, which has been caused by the internet shopping plus the economy.
Right.
I was saying the problem is with towns that are suffering now, which is a lot of them, and most of them in fact, is that they haven't managed to keep up with the out-of-town shopping centres and the internet. They've just kind of rested on their laurels.
The change in shopping trends.
And trends, yeah, they just they haven't done it. They've just kind of moseyed on, kind of thought everything's going to be all right, and they've not thought, oh, hang on a minute, we need to do something about this. And what I was trying to say last night as well is that we don't treat our town centres as businesses, and maybe if we did and we had a long-term strategy, a short-term strategy, a marketing plan, and treated it more like a brand, then perhaps we would have more, well, not perhaps, we definitely would have a chance, a fighting chance of competing. Place,
promotion, price, the marketing, a brand. Yeah. That's how we should be treating our towns, isn't it?
Definitely. We should have, we should have a manager. We should have people that care. We should have productive people that are going to react, and reactive people. We have to react, and unfortunately, we live in much more of a fast-paced life now. Yeah. Things are changing constantly, and unfortunately, our high street and our town centres haven't kept up with that.
So we need to keep our wits about us, if you like, and try and keep up with the trends.
Well, yeah, and like I say, have a plan, have a focus. Don't just kind of carry on thinking everything will be all right and someone will come along and wave a magic wand.
We were saying that you've got a new child.
Yeah.
And a lot of the kids we see around town, this is their home.
Yeah.
And in 10, 20 years' time, when they're having kids, we don't want the town to be a ghost town. There are some. And
it will. Well, it's not even going to be 10, 20 years' time, and it's a question of us all realising it, accepting it, pulling our sleeves up, and actually doing something about it.
But Ormskirk's got plenty of potential.
Definitely. I don't think, obviously things that could be done, but we're definitely not the worst town.
I won't say the town, but it was outside Manchester, quite a well-known old cotton mill town, and it's a high street full of pawnbrokers and cash converters, and we don't want that for Ormskirk, do we?
Well, it's already turned into a bit of a town of charity shops, which is a bugbearer for a lot of people. Because unfortunately, obviously, when you do have empty units, they are filled pretty much with charity shops. But yeah, like I say, if we don't do something ASAP. We're not going to have a town.
So we want people who are willing to get stuck in.
Yeah.
And people with ideas.
Yeah.
And people not just who can talk about it, but can
actually
do it as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Ormskirk competes with, like many other small towns, small market towns, competes with out-of-town shopping centres like the big Tesco's, the big Asda's.
Well, no, they're separate. No? So you've got supermarkets, which you've got a significant share of the market now in non-food sales.
Right.
I think all UK supermarkets now.
You can pretty much get everything in.
Yeah, well, a third of their shop floor space is non-food sales.
And that's really hit the small high street.
Yeah, massively.
And I take it that places like Ormskirk are in competition with other market towns locally.
Yes, I believe. Are you talking in relation to going forward for the?
Yes, going forward. I mean, Ormskirk, it competes. It's got Southport round the corner. It's got Wigan, Leigh, St Helens. Is that the sort of thing we're competing with?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm naive to say that. No, totally. Of course, they're going to be competing with local areas, but I think it is much more to do with internet shopping and shopping malls.
So it's not necessarily competing with other towns that's the problem for us. No. It's how people's shopping habits have changed, and how can we attract them back to Ormskirk?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What are the things that stand out for you that Ormskirk, could do with changing? Are there any things that the market traders or the retailers have told you that they think needs to be changed?
Well, from the meeting last night, a big thing that kind of came out of it was it needs to be made to look tidier, prettier, just generally have a nicer feel about it, and then obviously that would encourage shoppers to want to spend more time. People
would like to come to visit Ormskirk.
Yeah, and make it a more destinational
event shopping, isn't it?
Yeah.
And does that sort of thing cost a huge amount of money? Is that something that we expect the council to do, or is that something we expect the shop landlords to do, or is that something we expect the retailers to do?
Okay, well, with this grant, developing a town team, it means the council have to be the accountable body for it, but it's not run by the council, so it would be run by the people of Ormskirk, as in the team that we would create.
We have that horrible management term, don't we? Stakeholders.
Yes.
Well, so we have different stakeholders, don't we? So the council, the retailers, the landlords.
Yeah.
And from what I saw last night, they all came together in the public.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the students, which are part of the general public for this town, which makes Ormskirk, I guess, quite different from most either market towns or towns, because most towns don't have a university within them. They're generally city centre located.
And in many ways, that's a very good thing for us, isn't it?
It is a very good thing, yeah.
I mean, you hear a lot of the students get slagged off quite a lot, but they can bring an awful lot of. Without the university, I worry that what would happen to Ormskirk.
Well, I think it's about 40% of our local economy comes from the students, so it's massive.
It's a huge amount, isn't it?
Massive, and that's going to grow because it has grown significantly in the last few years.
So we don't just want the students getting drunk on cheap beer. We want other things for them to come to town.
Yeah. And that's going to be things like more leisure activities, more service orientated. Also, from last night, we decided a good idea would be for a lot of the empty shops to be utilised for the students and even school children as well. So students of the university and obviously school children to showcase themselves, showcase
little galleries.
Yeah, effectively.
Schoolwork, school projects.
Yeah,
that's the sort of thing that we can show what our local community is capable of.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in Ormskirk now maybe 3-4 years, and what I've really found great is that the community comes together for community events, things like the Walk of Witness, the Servolution in town, the Remembrance Day parades. People are there, and people do want to get involved, and we have that sort of. That's a good thing for us. We need to harness that. Yeah,
I mean, I think there is a lot of history here, as I think you'll find in a lot of market towns. There is a lot of history, and I think, you're right, we do need to harness it. It is important to recognise it. It's important to make the most of it with events, etc. But however, I also think
there's other things we need.
There is definitely other things we need, and perhaps the younger market or the younger community in Ormskirk aren't as bothered about things like that, so I think it's a bit of a mix. You need to get a good mix of both, because you're battling with the traditional market town and the traditional people of Ormskirk alongside.
Then there's change, isn't there?
Yeah,
and it's sometimes a bit of a battle line, isn't it?
But I think you can integrate the two, to be honest. I think you can.
Well, we've got two futures coming up to us. One, we go for the bid and we win 100 grand, or B, we go for the bid and we don't win 100 grand.
Yeah.
Let's go for both scenarios.
Yeah, okay.
Say we win £100,000 from Mary Portas in the pilot. What do we do with it?
Okay, well that's something, hopefully next week I want to get everyone together that wants to be on the team, and we need to obviously go through initiatives, and then we actually need to allocate roughly kind of how much we need to spend on each, which I'm sure it'll take a second to go £100,000, because let's face it, it's not a great deal of money, but it's a starting point. That if we don't get it, then I still see that as a good thing, because at the end of the day,
you've brought the team together, and we can move forward with that.
Yeah, people are talking about it. People are getting a little bit buzzy and excited. You know, I've already had feedback this morning from people that were there, from people that weren't there and have heard about it.
Yes.
And there's definitely a buzz starting, which is really, really positive.
Well, slightly controversial. The Ormskirk Motorfest is back this year with an additional money, but I've heard that they've now got a sponsor, so there's extra money in place. Is this the sort of thing that we want Ormskirk to be doing? More events, more more throughout the year, throughout the calendar.
Yeah, because again, it causes a good buzz and it's good for media attention, etc. So from that side and point of view, definitely very good. However, from my point of view and other people that I've spoken to as well, to do something like a one-day event is not going to bring in.
Because there's another 364 days to worry about, isn't there?
Yeah, and it doesn't, I mean, from our point of view as well, myself as a retailer, that the Motivate Fest that happened last time didn't bring any additional business to us whatsoever.
Hence the controversy on the council spending.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but there's always going to be controversy around everything. You know, no one is going to always agree on everything, because... So
what do we want local people to do? We've got local residents who are... They're the customers at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
If they have ideas about what Ormskirk needs to happen, what can they do?
Well, this is what I was saying last night as well when we were going through ideas. I was like, are these ideas good enough? Are these actually going to bring people in? And I asked if there was any local residents there, and there were a few. But, you know, I want... It's them that are the most important. They're the ones that are either going to come in or not going to come in. They're the ones that are driving the economy.
So we want ideas from members of the public.
We want ideas. And you know what? No matter how mad they think they are or how boring they think
It's called brainstorming, isn't it? We have every idea in and we filter it. So if there's ideas from local school children, local college students, university students, people who've got ideas about how to rejuvenate Ormskirk, we want to know about it.
Definitely.
So they can get it if they look up Katie Givens at Pandora's Box, or if they get in contact with lifeinanothertown.blogspot.com, or Q Local, Facebook. What's the Facebook page?
It is facebook.com, obviously, and then / Portas Pilot for Ormskirk.
Portas Pilot, Portas Pilot, as in aeroplane pilot. And comment on Facebook. We all like social networking. That's one way to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Katie, thank you very much for giving us a few minutes, and let's good luck for Ormskirk. Let's hope for Ormskirk.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Following up from the interview with Katie Givens of Pandora's Box and the Mary Portas Pilot bit, I thought I'd walk down Burscough Street and just give you a typical example of what the High Street could end up as. Here we have one shop, sale closing down, next to it with a to let sign on the above there. If I scan just two shops down, closing down, sale. If I close another two shops down, it's already closed, empty, and another to let sign. Here we are at the top of Burscough Street, and again another shop closing down, sale. This was Halo, looked like a little gift shop. Right, we've moved away from Burscough Street, and we're now on Moore Street in Ormskirk. Let's give another couple of examples of sort of what's happening to our high street. If you look at Bon Marché, the clothing retailer, the store closing down the last few days. And if we cross the other side of the street, we're looking at what used to be, I think that was a Dixon's or a Curry's, it's certainly one of the electrical chains. That's now a YMCA charity shop. So we've looked at what's closing down. We've seen 5 or 6 premises that are closing. Let's go and look for some good news. Right, in the previous clip we were on Moore Street showing other examples of businesses closing down, but I promise you some good news. So we're still in Ormskirk, and now we're on Moorgate, and a shop I noticed opening up a little while ago is the Ormskirk Hill Bar. And who do I have in front of me but the boss, Trevor
Way.
And you're the owner.
Yes.
So why have you opened up a business in Ormskirk?
Because my business suits the town and competition is very weak.
So you've broken the mould by thinking of something that there isn't much competition for,
yes,
that your customers need,
yeah,
and you've got a thriving business.
Yes, it's doing well so far, yeah.
Right, we're still on Moorgate. We've just left the Ormskirk Heel Bar, and here we are with another new business that's opened up in Ormskirk, A&B Cabs. Why has it opened it up? Why have they opened? What's here in Ormskirk? The students, the nightlife. People need to get home. A&B Cabs have obviously invested in an office here. That's a good sign for Ormskirk. Okay, we're now on Church Street. I showed you some businesses that had unfortunately closed down in the town. I still show you some good news. We've had a couple of small independent businesses, but here's one of the big brands in the sort of brand jungle, if you like, O2. Doesn't get much bigger than that as a brand. O2 has come to Ormskirk. Now, I spoke to the owner of the franchise last night at the Mayor Portas meeting. He's got a couple of franchises in the northwest. He's moved to Ormskirk. He's investing in Ormskirk. He's behind it. He's confident that he can do good business here. Well, that's a reason for us to be hopeful. And here we are now, slightly higher up the High Street, up Church Street, to the Funk Till and Brown Bar. This is ready to be opened up. So this is another example of a new business. It might not be huge, it might not employ loads of people, but it's a sign that people have got faith in Ormskirk to open a new business at what is a difficult time in the economy. Now we've got Premier Barbers, which is another business that's opened up in Ormskirk. I just had a quick chat with the manager. He's got a bit of a cold today, so he's not going to talk to camera, but what he has said, he's got two other businesses here. Funnily enough, one of them is the Funk Nail Bar, and another one is a beauty salon. So why is he investing in Ormskirk? Because he thinks Ormskirk's got potential, you know. So here's a guy opening businesses. So there's not all bad news in Ormskirk, and with the right attitude, I'm sure we can go, you know, all the way.